The thing about Chelsea is life is never boring.
Hey chaps, welcome back to properchels.tv. I'm your host as always, Logan Blue. And yes, that is indeed Chels with an S, not Chels with a Z, because we're not an American team. Despite the American owners and despite the American owners recently trademarking Chels and the Chels. Yes, that actually happened. Why? That's a question for another video, but it's a question we're going to be going into because I suspect there is no smoke without fire in relation to the asset stripping that is going on via our owners. Okay, so today we're going to have a quick chat in relation to the Panathinaikos game. Now, the Panathinaikos game is match day 2 in the Conference League, and many commentators have said that this is going to be our toughest match in the group stages. And while that may well be true, I suspect we still should be beating them quite comfortably, even with our B team. Although, having said that, we nearly got knocked out by Servette in the qualifier. So, yeah, let's not count our chickens just yet. Now, having a quick look at the Super League in Greece, Panathinaikos are currently 6th, so they're in the same position as we are in the EPL. Panathinaikos have played 8, won 3, drawn 3, lost 2, 4-7 against 6, a goal difference of positive 1. Now, them being 6 in their league, us being 6 in their league, really should tell us that this should be like a cakewalk for us, because the Greek league obviously is not a big 5 league. And if Panathinaikos were in the EPL, you'd assume they'd get relegated, or certainly would be in a relegation battle because of the quality of their team. However, the Greek supporters are terrific. They're very vociferous. They're up for it. They're like antagonistic. It's a tough place to go for many reasons. But I don't think it should be a tough place to go for footballing reasons if we just play to our strengths. Now, let's have a quick look at the team that I've selected for this one. Okay, so a lot of our team selection is done by default, really, partly because we have an A team and a B team in Enzo Maresco's mind, and also because certain players are not available for the Conference League group stages. They've been excluded just to give them a bit of extra rest, I suppose. I'm not a big fan of this. I've said this before, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. It's a hill I will die on. I think we should have our best team out every time. Yes, you rotate 1 or 2 positions, but I didn't see Mourinho's Chelsea going into Europe playing a B team. It's just not how he approaches tournaments, which is why he's won so many. Okay, so let's have a quick look here. So we've got Jurgensen in goal. He is our cup keeper, apparently. Although I suspect he should be our Premier League goalkeeper. Not that I've seen enough of him to definitively say, yeah, he's the guy. I just would rather have anyone rather than Sanchez. Okay, so the good news is we have Cucurella in the squad, and he missed the last game through injury, so he's fresh. So I suspect he will start this game at left back, because that will really strengthen our defense and help also our midfield, which is, as you can see, a little lightweight compared to normal. Now, Cucurella, I suspect, will play 60 minutes or something, as he's going to start on the weekend as well. But if we're struggling, he'll stay on. If we're not struggling, he'll come off, and we'll put somebody else there. But yeah, so I've got Cucurella on the left of the defense. I've got Badiashile and Tosin in the center of defense. I'm not a huge fan of Badiashile, although he didn't have a bad game against Liverpool when he came on. So yeah, Tosin had an awful game, and we were kind of hoping that he was going to be the answer to the who plays with Colwell. Mind you, Colwell had a rubbish game too against Liverpool. So yeah, we don't think we've got the best defenders at the moment. At least the best defenders in the best form. So Badiashile and Tosin in the centre, and Disasi on the right. Now, yes, I hear you. Why have you got Disasi on the right? I don't want him on the right, but we are thin on the ground when it comes to right backs, and obviously our third choice right back is currently in dispute with Chelsea because he doesn't want to sign a new contract, because he doesn't see a pathway. And from that point of view, I understand the club. I also understand him and his advisors saying that no, I've got 18 months left on the contract. I'll sell me, or I'll run my contract down. So I think that Cucurella, Badiashile, Tosin, and Disasi, it certainly should be enough to see off Panathinaikos. In midfield, I've got Dewsbury Hall and Cassidy, a little lightweight, but very mobile. I think they'll get around the ground well, and Dewsbury Hall is a better player with the ball at his feet than I think people give him credit for. And Cassidy is young and full of beans, and he's tall, so he's good in the air. So, but yeah, we're going to be a bit lightweight in the midfield, which is why Cucurella will have to invert and give us, a three when we go to three at the back. Up front, I've got Mudryk. I've got Neto. Oh, actually, I forgot to put Felix in on the graphic, but insert, number 10 is Felix. So he's the backup to Palmer. So we've got Mudryk, Felix, and Neto, and Nkuku up front. That's a very capable attack. So I think we should be able to, get the job done with those guys. What I will say is that, like all Greek teams, and especially like if you think back to the Greek team that won the Euros by basically parking the bus for the entire tournament, but winning the entire tournament. So I suspect they will be willing to give us the ball, and will be stacking their defense, which is kind of fine. And that's what we've been very bad in the last few seasons is breaking down a stubborn defense. When there's like 9 or 10 people, behind the ball, there's not a lot of space. So, I think they'll do just that. I also think that they are going to be charged as a crowd because of, let me have a look here, because of the death of George Baldock. Now, who the hell is George Baldock, I hear you cry? Well, George Baldock is a Panathinaikos player who died last month, only 31. He drowned in his swimming pool in supposedly mysterious circumstances, whatever that means. I think there's been no decision as to exactly what happened. Was it an accident? Was it, was he on drugs? Did he just slip and hit his head? Did someone push him in? This is all, just speculation on my part. It could be anything at this stage. But they have definitely come out and said that they are investigating his death, which makes me think that there's some suspicion as to how it happened. How does a 31-year-old, professional athlete, just die in his backyard swimming pool? So anyway, it's obviously a terrible tragedy and horrible news for everyone connected with George and his family, and we obviously pass on the best to them for that. But and this is a tasteful but. This isn't an idiotic segue. But I don't think that it's going to have the impact that some commentators have been saying. And the reason that I say that is that George Baldock was a Sheffield United player for years. He was in the Championship with them, and he was part of the team that brought them up when they came up to the Premiership. So he had like a couple hundred games or something for them. And then he moved to Panathinaikos. He's only played 3 times for Panathinaikos, so it's obviously a tragedy. And yes, of course, it's horrible. When somebody drowns and you're 31 and like fit, and yeah, it's obviously shocking. But I don't think the Panathinaikos fans were invested in him in the same way that they would be invested in a player who's played for them for many seasons and was a fan favorite. If a fan favorite dies, I think the outpouring and the emotional response will be stronger. There will, of course, be an outpouring and an emotional response. How could you not when somebody who's one of your players dies at 31? It's ridiculous. It's horrible. So that will be there in the background. But I don't think, my gut's saying it. I don't think it will be a driving force in the we got to win one for George. Come on, we can do this. I've seen that happen in years gone by, when the 12th man is literally the memory, the spirit of the person who has passed. But yeah, horrible news for George Baldock's family, but probably wasn't even going to start for them, I suspect, given what I have seen of their lineups in the first 8 matches of the year. So yeah, it'll definitely play into the crowd. But once we score a goal or maybe 2 goals, I don't think that's going to carry them, to the finish line. So okay, to my prediction for the score. Right. So, well, some people have been saying this should be a 4-0 win, easy peasy. Some people are predicting it'll be tight. I suspect it'll be somewhere in the middle, and I'm going to go for Panathinaikos 1, Chelsea 3. I think if they score early, they'll park the bus and they'll make it very hard for us indeed. And it'll be up to Neto and Mudryk and Umkuku and Felix to unlock the stubborn defense. But if we score early, they have to open up. And once they open up, it'll create space. And Mudryk and Neto are like whippets, man. They're just longing for space. So, let's just hope we get an early goal. That way we'll make the match a lot more comfortable for us than if it's tight all the way through, or if they get an early goal, from a set piece or something on us. Okay, so yeah, that's the match. Panathinaikos 1, Chelsea 3. And I look forward to coming back tomorrow to give you the match analysis.
Okay, then, that's all the news that's fit to print, and quite a bit that isn't. As always, thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and God bless, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.